What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this I'm going to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and many tickers out there. I'm also going to talk about the overall market, what news is coming out for today, and also what's happening to Tesla, because Tesla's looking very nice right now. Before I break things down about all this information, though, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, so Tesla is up quite nicely in the pre-market. The market is still trying to hold up. We're seeing SPY, which is very, very flat right now. NEO is also up quite big, and the QQQ is very flat too, a little bit in the green. Overall, the market is still holding up, and the question is, how is the market going to perform? Well, please remember that the market is going to be closing at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time for today. So 3 hours before it normally closes, the market is going to be closing early in commemoration of the 4th of July. So please remember this and please be prepared for this. On top of this could lead to less volume, maybe like more choppy sideways price action for many of the indices, and not the best type of price action for many stocks out there. But Tesla in particular is holding up quite nicely. So I'm going to break down more information about this in a few minutes. First, let's just talk about this. We have Levi's reporting earnings, but nothing else for today during like the pre-market or anything else like that. That's basically going to be it for Thursday and Friday. A couple of things to know is that Janet Yellen is going to be heading to China very soon. This may have an effect on many Chinese stocks like Alibaba, NEO, Li Auto, and etc. On top of this, we can see that the market is still looking for some pretty decent price action. So we're trying to hold up right before the 4th of July. And to add on to that, Tesla is looking very good. It's getting a big shout out from many of these websites. It's all over the news right now. It's also trending on Twitter, looking very nice. Now, to add on to this, let me just remind you guys, we have some data coming out for today. We have the PMI report coming out 15 minutes after the market opens. Then 30 minutes after the market opens, we have the ISM manufacturing data. All this data is going to be very important for giving us a gauge of how the economy is doing. So watch this all very carefully. There could be more volatility 15 minutes and 30 minutes after the market opens. So just be prepared for that. And besides that, after 10 o'clock a.m., there's nothing else coming out. No pieces of news or any data or anything like that. The market's going to have some free time between 10 a.m. Eastern time and 1 p.m. So watch that very carefully. Not much may happen, though, because it's going to be like right before a holiday. But what's good about Tesla is, just to remind you guys, they delivered over 466,000 cars, which is insane. That's a lot higher than the expectations, which were between 440 and 450,000. So Tesla absolutely crushed it, did very well, and right now things are looking very good for it, because many of these analysts are reiterating that they're very positive on Tesla. They have a very positive outlook on it. Others are saying that it should be rising by over $50 billion in valuation, and even more than that possibly. And other people are saying, once again, it's looking very strong, and the bears are going to be in a run for their money. So, like I said before, the outlook on Tesla is very positive this morning, looking quite nice. What do I see going on? So, it gapped up very hard, and it hit the next resistance zone around this 280 level, right? We mentioned this level yesterday, and now Tesla got this small rejection off of it. It's currently around this like 276 area. So we know where the next resistance level is going to be, this like 280 area. If it breaks above 280 and starts pushing up quite nicely, the next important level for this thing is going to be closer to like 285 to 286, right? That's going to be like the next resistance zone. If we break that, if this thing gets above 286 and it continues to push up, the next major resistance, or like the more significant one, is going to be around 290. If it breaks above that, then that's it. It's going to likely fly for that 300. So watch those levels very carefully. There's a good chance it's going to try to keep going. Now, if you're a bear on Tesla, just hypothetically, right, I always want to be unbiased when saying this. And I'm going to give you guys my prediction in just a couple of minutes too. But if you're a bear, you're going to be watching this 5 EMA very carefully, this 270 area. If it breaks below that, then it has the potential to come down a lot lower to fill this gap, or at least get closer to it. But for now, I don't really see it dropping that hard. I don't see why it's going to drop that hard after just shattered all expectations. Did very well and broke another all-time high record. The only thing that could slow Tesla down is the fact that there's going to be less volume today, and it's going to be a very short day. The market's only open for a couple of hours. So what could happen is this. Tesla basically opens, it trades between this like 275 and 280 area for quite some time, going back and forth and back and forth. Then it eventually tries to break above 280 and tries to make its way up to about like the 285 zone to 286. I think that's very possible and very realistic. But then during the later days, right after the next couple of trading days, as we approach the normal market hours on Wednesday and beyond, we could see Tesla continuing to up, trying to make its way up closer to like $300, which I think is very possible. But I don't think we're going to go all the way up to 300 in just one day. I think it's going to need a lot more time to do that. But there is still lots of potential for it to get a very positive amount of price action as we approach the big dates. For SPY, this thing is so far trending above our 5 EMA. If we break below this, the next level is going to be 440 as support. If that fails us, it's going to get a rug pull all the way down to like the 436s to 438 area. It's going to be a lot more possible. So watch major support at 440 just to be safe. If this thing tries to bounce, okay, and it tries pushing up hypothetically, you're going to be watching this 444 area being the next major level. If it breaks above that and holds it, it could go all the way up to 446. Break that, then there's 447.5, potentially 450. So those are your support and resistance levels. What do I see going on with this chart, however? I think it's going to be very boring. I think it might try to like push up temporarily in the morning, then come right back down and just trade very sideways, maybe slow down near the very end of the day and get a possible sell-off at the very end. That's kind of minor, nothing too serious, because there's going to be less volume. Not a whole lot of traders are going to be active. It's right before the 4th of July weekend, and the market's only open for a couple of hours, which tends to be very like sideways and very choppy. So I'm not really expecting too much from SPY. I think it's going to be kind of boring to watch. To add on to this, then we have the triple Q right over here. Looking at the triple Q, I just wanted to add that it's very important to look at this from an unbiased lens. If the triple Q tries to continue pumping, you're going to be watching this thing fight resistance around this pre-market high at 370.99. If it gets above that, I'm going to be watching this next completion of the inverse head and shoulders, which will take this thing up to about this 372.81 area. So almost 373 basically. And I think there's a lot of potential for it to push up thanks to Tesla. So I'm going to be watching that level carefully. If it breaks that, it could get closer to like 375, but I'm not counting on that to happen today because once again, the market's going to be a little bit sideways. Maybe it pushes up a little bit more, tries to get to like the 372s, maybe a little bit higher, and then it comes right back down. May get an end of the day sell off right before the final hour because of the market cooling off right before the weekend. And then it just might be kind of sideways throughout the majority of the day, maybe one more pop and then some sideways price action. And if it doesn't reach this level like today, it could happen as soon as Wednesday. So watch this all very carefully. We have a clean setup on the triple Q. It's just worth noting. For Nvda, I told you all yesterday I was more bullish on Nvda because we had this inverse hand and shoulder structure. It was looking quite nice from a technical setup. It is trying to gap up just a little bit. So if it comes down to fill this gap, it could drop just like a couple of dollars. It's just a $2 drop, nothing too serious. It might come down to fill that gap and try to bounce and then push its way up to about this like 430 area. But I'm not expecting too much from it. It might just trade kind of sideways after that, very close to like 425 to 430. And it may close very, very flat. I mean, I'm not really expecting too much volume on it, but I think during the later days of the week, approaching like Wednesday and beyond, there's still more potential for upside for it to make its way up to about 440. So I'm still more bullish on Nvidia overall, but for the short term, just for today, it may see some sideways price action. I'm just going to go over just a couple of them just very quickly now. For Microsoft, just potential inverse hand and shoulder structure, we have this resistance zone like right around this 344 area. So that's going to be the next major level to watch for. We also have the previous high it made right here at 342.73. If it breaks down, you're going to be watching this major support around this like 337 area, 337.5 around there. It's currently at 340 basically. If it breaks to the upside, watch 342, then 344 after that is major resistance. I think this thing is just going to trade sideways, not really do too much, so I'm not expecting way too much from it. But what is going to affect the market a bit would be this right here. Where's my Aapl chart? I think I had it somewhere here. For Aapl, that's going to be very impactful too. Apple's a little bit down today. It has been cooling off in the pre-market. If it breaks below 192 as support, it's going to come down to about 190. It will have more downside potential. If it tries to like base just above 192, it has the potential to bounce and has potential to try to keep going. So then we're going to be watching if this thing can get closer to like 195 if that were to be the case. But for now, for Aapl, just watch this very carefully. I think it's just going to trade sideways, not really do anything today. I think it's just going to go back and forth between support and resistance. And I'm expecting a kind of boring day for just looking at the pre-market. But going into into Wednesday, things could change big time. Coinbase, it's a tiny bit green in the pre-market, but this is still looking a little bit weaker to me overall. On the 4-hour time frame, it's still looking weaker. We also have this bearish divergence. So, I mean, could this thing try to push up? Yes, it could try to push up a little bit, maybe get a back test of 74 and then get another rejection after that. I'm anticipating that. It could be forming like a head and shoulders like structure. I still think this is going to start to downtrend soon and retest like 68 soon. Just watch this carefully. Until then, I think I went over the majority of these stocks. We also have Meta. It's very flat in the pre-market. To turn really bullish, it has to break above 290. I don't think it's going to happen today. I think it's just going to trade sideways as well. If it comes down to test this like 50 EMA, it's also a possibility. It coming down here, then bouncing. But I don't really see too much volatility on it. It's just trading very sideways right now. Look at the pre-market. It's just going back and forth, not really doing anything. But anyways, that's what I have for this video. So watch these tickers very carefully. Specifically, most of the stocks, are going to be kind of like sideways, not really doing too much. But stocks like Tesla and NEO, many EVs, many consumer discretionaries may have a better time in trying to push up. You can see NEO is also gapping up quite nicely, has some potential too to get some volume in. Tesla as well, and things are looking pretty good for them. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you guys later on. Market to the moon is the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.